Hello and welcome to the Write Your First Novel Now podcast edition. It's David here. Welcome aboard. Today, I'd like to go a little bit deeper into the reasons why you may be thinking about writing a novel. This is this is going to get deep into your brain. So I want to pull back the curtains a little bit and dig deep on why you want to write a novel. And so the goal of today's podcast is to get you to think more deeply and richly about some of those reasons why you want to go down this path. Because to get a really good understanding of why you want to take on the daunting task of writing a novel, it's going to take anywhere from 300 to 500 hours of your time to write and revise a 75,000 word novel. That's that's a lot of time. So if you're going to commit to that and be able to work through your writing project and your writing roadmap and overcome the obstacles and the dips that happen along the way, it's really important to have a solid understanding of why you're doing this. And here's a hint: to become rich and famous is not a very powerful message to send out into the universe as to why you want to take this on. So if you're going to take on a project of this magnitude, then you really owe it to yourself to fully understand the reasons why, so that when you do get tired and when you do run into those writing dips, you can remind yourself of why you're doing this in the first place. So this is a little bit of an exercise. This is how I'd like you to approach it. It's best to do this with a trusted partner because often other people can point out things that are in our blind spots. So if you have a trusted partner, maybe someone you write with or someone at home, it's a good idea to ask them to indulge you as you go through the exercise. That's not to say that you can't do it on your own. You certainly can, but it can be helpful to do it with someone else. So here's how to start. I'd like you to write down the reasons why you want to write a novel. So take a few minutes right now, pause the podcast, take a few minutes, and write down some of those reasons why you want to write a novel. Now, I can tell you that in the workshops, I often ask this question of incoming writers, and as to why they want to go through this process. And I get all, as you can imagine, I get all kinds of reasons for it. But predominantly, the ones that keep bubbling up towards the top are things like that sense of achievement of writing a novel, and to be able to hold that book in your hands at the end of it all, and even to prove to others that you can do this. So let's take a look at that last one. I want to write a novel because I want to prove to fill in the blank that I can do this. Maybe it's mom or dad, or maybe it's that high school English teacher you had, whatever it might be. But you're writing a novel because you want to prove to someone that you can do this. Now, ask yourself, why is that so important to you? Why is being able to prove that you can do this so important to you? This is getting into, if the first level of why is I want to write a novel because I want to prove that I can do this, then the second level of why is, why do you find that so important? Why is that really something that's driving you? So, and there are 7 levels of why in the exercise. So the second level is, why is that so important to you? And then answer that question. And it's not, you can take 10 seconds and answer the question perhaps, but I'd really like you to sit down and think about that. Like get into your head as to why it's so important to show others that you can do this. And then start writing down your answer. And maybe it's a couple of lines, maybe it's a full page. I don't know, but start exploring why that's so important to you. And, what might bubble up is, it's really important for me to show others that I can do this Because I have always tried stuff and failed in the past. I've never been able to finish what I start. So maybe that's the reason why. Like, I've never been able to finish what I start. That's why it's really important for me to write a novel. Okay, so then the third level of why is, all right, why is it that you keep starting and stopping things? Why is it that you see yourself failing whenever you say you're going to do something and then you don't to follow through? Like, what's going on there? Why does that happen? So that would be the third level of why. So you can see, this is getting into your head. So it's not something you can really do off the on the back of an envelope. You've got to take the time to really think about this. And this is why having a partner, having someone you trust do this with you, to ask you those questions and to prompt you and to help you uncover those reasons why you're doing this is really, really helpful. As I said before, you can certainly do it yourself, but it's often easier if there's someone else in the room to nudge you along and to support you during the process. So that that question about why is it you always start things and never finish? Well, like what's going on there? What's the thing that's blocking you from committing to getting stuff done that you say you're going to do? And so answering that question, again, take your time, write it out, talk it through. There might be lots of reasons why you think you're doing this. And that would then inevitably lead to the next level of why. So you keep following this process through. You keep asking that next level of why. Ask that next question as to why you want to do stuff, or why you could continually do these things, or whatever it might be. And then at the end of it, by the time you've hit that seventh level of why, of those that underlying reason why you're doing this, that becomes so important to you. That becomes critical, because that is what you're going to rely on when the obstacles come up, when you get bored with your story, when the dip inevitably happens and you're wondering why you're doing this. You can remind yourself. You can remind yourself. So when you get down to that seventh level of why, once you've peeled the onion back, you've gotten down to that core reason that's driving you, that's the one that you want to put on a Post-it note and stick it on your fridge, or on your bathroom mirror, or in your writing space, on your laptop, wherever you are. That's the one that you want to keep reminding yourself about, because that is going to pull you through those sticky times when you're really not feeling it today, and you don't want to write, and your characters are boring, or whatever negative self-talk comes into your head. That's going to help you push it through, right? So if you compare that with, I want to write because I want to be rich and famous. I want to live the famous writer lifestyle. You can see that on its own isn't going to do it. It's not going to do it. Even the reason that, I want that sense of accomplishment, even that is not likely enough. Like, you have to go deep on this stuff. So I guarantee you that if and when you do go deep on these questions, you're going to find out some stuff that you probably never realized was all there. And here's my example. So in my own life, I went through this and did it for not my first novel, because I didn't know anything at the time. That's the one that shall never see the light of day. But for the other novel that I wrote, The Crying of Ross 128, that's the one that that I eventually put out there into the world. And I went through this exercise of the 7 reasons why I wanted to do this. Well, at first, I start thinking about that sense of accomplishment and, leaving something in the family archives, or like whatever it might be. But when I really dug down deep and explored why it is I want to do this, it was really to reconcile with my dad. That's what it really came down to. And the story has a happy ending that way. So that's really what came out of it, and that was the reason why I really wanted to write that first novel. Anyway, as I say, great exercise. Take your time, go through it. It's not going to take a month to go through this little exercise. You can do it in an hour, but it's really important, and this will really help push you through those times when you get stuck. So drop me a line, let me know how it goes, and of course, if I can help you with your writing, please let me know. There's lots of stuff I can share with you. We'll see you next time.